I'm Jessica Mikowski, mindset coach, co-founder of Yogi Triathlete, and host of the Awake Athlete podcast. Welcome to Season 6, The Road to El Cruce. This season is a living documentary, my journey to a 3-day 100K stage race through the wild terrain of Patagonia. It's not just about endurance training, it's about exploring the mental, emotional, and spiritual edges that shape us. There's no set schedule. Episodes will drop as the layers peel back. My hope is that in hearing my story, you remember your own strength and your own path home. This is me showing up in real time, and I am all in. I'm so glad you're with me. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2, The Road to El Cruce. As you know, here we are. Okay. So I am I'm in that new 8-week block. So the second 8-week block, and we've tweaked a couple of things, not too much. I'm leveling out at about 20 hours of training a week, and that's what I did for the first 8 weeks. And so honestly, the only things we really tweaked were we're taking my strength down just to about a half an hour. So I do strength still Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then we're taking some time and we're adding it into my runs. So we are building out my Thursday trail run. Just right now, we're going to readdress this in a couple of weeks, but that Thursday trail run is now going to be at 2 hours. And my Sunday trail run's now going to be at 2.5 hours. And then I am going to continue to extend my brick run on Saturdays. So we're kind of playing with that, took strength down a little bit. And then because of all the climbing I've been doing, we've been hitting Palomar Mountain like every Saturday. Oh my God, such a commitment and such a thrill and such an amazing workout. We're taking down my hill workout on Wednesdays, and Beej is going to have me over on the track, or as we call it here in Carlsbad, the rail trail. We have this public trail that is parallel to the railroad tracks behind our house. So cool. And it's marked off every 100 meters. So it's like a track. So I'm going to do some 200s on there, just get that turnover. El Cruce is not going to be about winning it. It's going to be about this is my first stage race, and I'm in the Andes Mountains in Patagonia, Argentina. And it's going to be about getting the work done day after day after day, right? It's 3 days. So I'm really focused on building strength and mileage, yes, and not so much speed. This isn't going to be a speed race. This is, for me, at least right now, as I say here in July, it's going to be about finishing it. Now, if all of a sudden I become some kind of mountain ultra phenom between now and December, then maybe it will be about speed. I will promise you this, because this is who I am through and through and through, is that I will give my all. And when I finish on the 3rd day, that tank is going to be completely empty. So we'll see what that looks like. But a little bit of turnover never hurt anybody. So on Wednesdays now, I'm going to be doing some turnover and getting some speed going there just to mix it up a little bit. I do love change. I am a creature of variety. So I'm sure there's something deeper in there, right? Why does everything always have to change for you? But anyway, this week, or this episode, we're going to get into nutrition. I wanted to tell you what I'm doing now. I've been an endurance athlete since, oh my God, a long time, over 2 decades. 2005 was my first triathlon. Why? Because I was finishing up massage school. I wanted to be the best massage therapist, and I wanted to work with athletes. And I knew from an intellectual level what they were going through, because my focus in massage school was sports and orthopedic massage. And so I knew all of that. I studied really, really hard, and I wanted to take it to the next level. And I thought, well, how can I get that edge? How can I get that that level up on my competition, right? Because at the time I was living in Boulder, and Boulder, Colorado was, as people would say, flooded with massage therapists at the time. But I always thought there's plenty of athletes to go around. This is an athlete mecca. And so I thought, well, what if I became a triathlete? What if I became an athlete? In hindsight, looking back on that, thinking like, how can I get the leg up? My competition, I was totally already an athlete. And that's kind of how I got into it. And I finished my first triathlon, was in Fort Collins, Colorado. And I was like, I'm good, I'm done. And then the next day, very, very typical for anyone who gets addicted to this stuff. It's like, I could save time in transition. I could have done that swim a little better. I could have pushed a little harder on the bike. If I trained a little more, I could probably run faster. What if I got stronger on the bike? So here we sit. Now, over these years, there's been a lot of evolution in sports nutrition. So I want to just bring us up to now. Okay. So what am I doing? Let's talk about my sports nutrition. So currently, we're using Blank's Sport Nutrition, which a year ago, you probably didn't hear about or even know about. And maybe that's even the case now because they're still such a new company, but they are freaking blowing up. I love these guys. So anyway, that's what I'm currently using. So when we're talking about like my big workouts, let's talk about Saturday's workout, which is, it has been about 5.5 to 6 hours. So let's say 4 to 6 hours is going to be my Saturday workouts. And that's between biking and running. And the only description from my coach is lots of climbing, right? 4 to 6 hours, lots of climbing. So I use Blank's Sports Nutrition high carb mix. And the high carb mix is 100 grams of carbs per hour, 400 calories a serving. So that's a bottle. So I'm going through one of those bottles every hour. Okay. And then on these rides, usually about 2.5 hours in, I'm talking about specifically this Palomar ride, we stop at a convenience store and I get a Coke, which is 140 calories. And then I get a bag of chips. And oh my God, a bag of Lay's has like 400 calories in it. It's crazy. And of course, a lot of salt, which is great because it's summertime here and San Diego is a coastal desert. So we live on the coast, which is so nice because it doesn't get too hot. But you go 15 miles inland, it's like you're in Arizona. It's really, really hot. And Palomar Mountain's about, I want to say like 50 miles in from the coast. So it's hot out there. And so that's what I use. And then I'm also supplementing with gels. I did a breakdown of my nutrition from a couple of weeks ago, and I was averaging like over 400 calories an hour, which was pretty amazing. Like that I'm able to get that many calories in my gut. So I've had to train that over time. And that means, and even in these workouts, like I get to a point where I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm going to throw up. You know, it's like I am just shoving so many calories into my body because I'm training it to take 100 carbs an hour. You don't want to just come out of the gate and try to do 100 carbs an hour. You're probably going to be really, really sick and you're probably going to feel pretty crummy. So build up to it because, you know, back in the day, I started with like a gel an hour, 100 calories an hour and maybe, I don't know, 15 carbs an hour. And as sports nutrition and science has, come around, everything is, getting elevated. So I do that. And then I supplement also with SIS gels. Like if I'm heading up East Grade of Palomar, which is an 11-mile climb. And mind you, at this point, I've already climbed like 3,000 feet. I'm going to throw down an SIS gel just to give me a little bit of extra energy because sometimes I'm just cruising up there, just getting it done. And then other times, coach has me do like a mile hard, a mile easy, a mile hard. So I want to make sure I've got what I need. So these SIS gels, I really like these. I get the isotonic ones because you don't need to drink water with them. So that's super cool. I'll throw one in my pocket when I go out for, hour runs or 90-minute runs, because if I need to take it and I'm not near water, it's perfect. And these guys have 90 calories and 22 grams of carbs. So another little bang in there. And I think they taste really good. So I do the pineapple is what I've been getting. And I do get them on the feed and they have sales where they're like $1 each. And that I just kind of stock up. For Blank Sports Nutrition, I met Will, who's one of the guys from Blanks at Oceanside 70.3 this year, the Blanks guys came to our yoga class that we held, which was amazing. So if you're doing Oceanside next year, we are crossing our fingers that they bring the yoga back, because I think we had like 40 or 50 people, which such a dream come true. And Will and I were talking about like mixing the flavors, right? And I said at the beginning of this podcast, like, I love variety. So I was like, dude, I want the Will special. And he's like, yeah, well, what do you want? And I said, whatever you're feeling that day, like just do it from your heart, like do it from the moment, right? That's where creative energy is available. That's what I said to my tattoo artist. And I ended up with the most gorgeous tattoos up my left arm. I was like, just create it, like create it from your heart. This is what I love. This is who I am. And he just freaking nailed it. So I love that, because then now you've got a known and you've got trust. So there's also a mindset piece to it. So Will has been throwing down these amazing creations, because with Blanks, you can customize anything. So you could start using Blanks and say, hey, I only want 40 carbs an hour, and they'll mix it for you. They'll do the custom mix. It's a little bit more. It's like $5 more, but it's still, the prices are slashed compared to like high marketing dollar companies that are out there in the sports nutrition world. So I've gotten 3 Will specials, and the one I'm working on now is watermelon cherry. It's so freaking good, because what the watermelon does to the cherry is what lemons do to beets. It like cuts the tartness. So it's just like extra flavorful, but the watermelon is so thirst quenching. I absolutely love it. Now they also have the go-to mix. Love this mix because it's like 100 calories serving and 25 grams of carbs. So sometimes I'll use it if I'm teaching a power vinyasa class. It's summertime, so it's hot, I'm sweating, or if I'm getting on the trainer, or if I'm just going out for like, 30, 45 minute run, or even an hour run. I'll drink that before I leave. So I'm hydrated, I'm front loaded on hydration, and then, grab an SIS gel to take, or I'll have a banana before I head out. So when I'm talking like 400 calories an hour, 100 grams of carbs, that's the weekend training. That's Saturday and Sunday. I'm training 4 to 6 hours on Saturday, and, right now 2.5 to 3.5, 4 hours on Sunday, plus an hour swim. So I'm doing a lot of activity on the weekends. And that's the time to train the gut. I'm not taking 400 calories and 100 grams of carbs on, an hour fat max training ride, on the trainer. I'm not doing that. It's too much. For me, that's not, that doesn't work. That doesn't make sense to me. It does not compute. I fuel well for these shorter rides and runs and swims. But for the big, big days, that's when I'm practicing the big, big nutrition. And I find that that's really all it takes. But my gut has been trained over many years. So guys, that's kind of it. I do like Go Macro bars as well. Sometimes I'll pop those in my trail vest or in my bike jersey. But I like the minis. You can buy the minis, and they're a fraction of the size, because those have a lot of like almond butter or peanut butter in them. And although they pack a great punch calorically, sometimes I can be like, ugh, like I want to throw up after. So the minis have really been serving me well. And this is trial and error, right? My body is not your body. My gut is not your gut. We don't eat the same diets. What I love, you might not love. So you got to find it for your own. But just to let you know what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing. Now, I want to also just share, what am I taking for like supplements, herbs, things like that, vitamins? I want to share that as well. And then I also want to share with you something that I've told nobody before. So let's start with Bloom. Bloom is a greens and superfood powder. It's very much like another very well-known brand that is has a high dollar ticket price to it. And I find that Bloom is much less expensive. It's about $1 a serving. I get the greens and superfoods, the pineapple flavor, and it's awesome. It's got the vitamin B12 that my naturopath wants me to have, the methylcobalamin in there, which is a lot more bioavailable. It's got all your vitamins and everything. And it tastes really delicious. It's 1 scoop a day and I've got it in my Nalgene. And so I drink that every single day to kind of kick off the day. But that's not 100% true because I kick off the day every day with warm lemon water, which is amazing, very alkalizing for your system, and it gets your digestion going. So a great morning drink. And then I've never made any mystery about my coffee love. I love coffee, and we use a mocha, MOKA. And we go straight up illy espresso every morning. It's delicious. Okay. I also take a vitamin. I take raw D3, and that's from Garden of Life. And I've had blood work done twice in the last 6 months. But the first one was a real complete panel. And although everything was looking really good, she said, hey, your D is great, but you even feel better when it's higher. So it doesn't mean that you have to be in a deficit, to enhance your health. You can be super healthy and feel great and enhance your health. And that's what I'm doing. So I take Garden of Life D3. I also take a vegan liquid collagen because did you know that you lose 10% of your collagen every decade of your life? I think that is just complete bullshit. So I take a vegan liquid collagen, which just tastes really good for me. And then I also do a Banyan Botanicals healthy hair because I've also made no qualms about the fact that I'm a little vain and I want to have beautiful, healthy hair. I like the way that feels. I massage coconut oil into my scalp and my hair probably about once a week. And so I take a healthy hair, and that also relates into your skin and your nails as well. And just being vulnerable here, guys. I told you I was going to be vulnerable. I also take ashwagandha, which is really fantastic. Ashwagandha is an adaptogen. And the really cool thing that I've learned about adaptogens is that not especially, but ashwagandha that I'm talking about here grows in really harsh conditions. And it flourishes in harsh conditions. And it mimics that in your life and your experience. And so ashwagandha helps me flourish in the harsh conditions of life in this world and the insanity of it. We're not going to change the world, but certainly we can change how we move through it and our response to it. So those are my supplements and things. And then one thing that I also have here that I forgot to say is GU hydration drink tabs. I pop these in my water and probably have one of these a day. Again, just always thinking about hydration and electrolytes and all that stuff. Okay, so that's kind of that. I can go into more of my daily nutrition, but I want to share something that I haven't shared. So it's been well over 10 years that until when I went vegan. And my whole life, I was a natural born vegetarian and loved cheese, but never really liked fish. My dad was a fisherman and grew up fishing, and but never really liked it. But I would go through these bouts where I'd be I need a flank steak. I knew exactly what I needed. I need a burger, Mom. And I never had problems digesting it or anything. I would just kind of go with intuitively what my body wanted or what I felt I needed. And for whatever reason, I have always been very intuitive. I remember that as a kid. I don't overthink things. I go from intuition, and that's put me into some sketchy situations. I do love a good thrill. I have been quite reckless in my life. But let's bring it back to nutrition. And I've been really intuitive. And when I let go of cheese, back around 2010, 2011, kind of let that go. I had this crazy experience 10 days into it where all of a sudden I had no allergies. I dropped 10 pounds. I have always been pretty little, but I dropped 10 pounds and I've never gained it back because I think there was just a lot of bloating and things that was happening. But I always said, and I don't want to do harm. I don't want to harm animals. I don't want to harm people. I don't want to harm myself. Ahimsa is arguably the most important tenet of yoga. And it just I love this translation of it, which is to do the least amount of harm in any given situation. And I always said, I used the word vegan for a while, but it always felt a little weird for me because I felt like I was in a box. And I felt like when I was in that box, I had rules. And those rules discounted my intuitive sense. That's always been really strong. So I used the word, but I always said, if I woke up the next day and my body said, you need to eat a steak, I would find the most consciously harvested piece of meat and I would be grateful for it and I would eat it in gratitude. And so it hasn't happened with meat, but it happened with eggs. And I was in the Galapagos Islands in April, and I had a craving for eggs like 9 months before. I told BJ about it. I'm like, I am craving eggs. And even when I ate eggs, I never really liked them, but I was craving an egg. And I went to Whole Foods and I got a hard-boiled egg in my salad, and I ate it 12 months ago at this point. And I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm done. And then I went to the Galapagos in April, and I'm in the airport with my dear friend who was on the trip with me. And she's also my neighbor downstairs. And I was like, Christy, I need eggs like right now. Like I need egg. My body is like, I feel weak. I feel like it was such an extreme feeling. And she was like, okay, we're getting you eggs. And, we're in this little airport in Ecuador, and she gets eggs, which I would never order eggs in an airport in America. I don't know. I just wouldn't because it's like, oh, where do these eggs come from? But in that moment, I was like, my body needs eggs. And I thought about it. And I was like, thought about this ahimsa. And I was like, I feel like not fulfilling this is going to feel harmful for me. And in yoga, we're the most highly evolved species on this planet. And the first ahimsa is towards ourselves. And we need to look at that, in truth. And there's been plenty of himsa, or I think that would be like the violence that I've done towards myself, just negative self-talk and things like that. But in this situation, I was like, I need eggs. And she got me the eggs, and she eats eggs, and she was like, whoa, these are like some of the best eggs. So I'm thinking this little airport in Ecuador was probably, getting the eggs probably pretty local. And I ate eggs, and I ate eggs every single day of that trip. I had fish on that trip. I had shrimp on that trip. The shrimp didn't sit very well. Even as I took the bite, it didn't sit well. And I had lobster tail on that trip. And since then, I haven't had seafood. I haven't been craving it, but I've had eggs. And so I get probably just a couple a week I've been doing. And I feel like it's been feeding a need for me. So that's another little vulnerable share there. And I guess the message is like, as soon as we put ourselves into a box of, with a title on it, we can have limitations and rules. And the most important thing is, to know thyself and know your body and what you need, and do it in the most grateful, conscious way that you can. So I'm going to leave you with that. But any questions about nutrition, shoot them over to me. I've done it all. I've done low carb. That was a disaster at Ironman 70.3 Syracuse. I could barely even move. I did not have enough carbohydrates. I have done the high carb, which I'm doing now, which is working amazing. I've done not enough nutrition. I've eaten way too much on the bike and thrown up on the run. So I'm here for it all. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks so much for listening. I love having you on this journey with me, and I will see you for episode 3. This show is brought to you by Yogi Triathlete, because you were born for more than just pushing through. We've been leading the way in holistic performance since the beginning, body, mind, and spirit. So thanks for tuning in. Stay awake, stay the course, and I'll meet you back here soon.